So first thing is we're actually gonna take a seat, roll it onto your back. We're gonna first start off with a little version of Shavasana. So we're just gonna take a little rest. Just kind of working to get in tune with your body. See if there's any tightness, if there's any fatigue anywhere, if you're holding any tension. We're gonna work to find those places. And just take notice if maybe one shoulder is sitting up a little bit higher than the other. Maybe one leg is a little bit more internally, externally rotated than the other. We're just going to work to find out where those positions are. And just kind of take note of that for when we go through our movements and our movement prep today, that you're able to maybe focus a little bit more on those places as we stretch out. We'll hang out here for about another 20 seconds. Try and relax everything. A lot of times we're holding tension in places that we don't even know it. A lot of times those traps hold tension, those shoulders come up to those ears, so we just want to kind of relax those, melt into the floor. Last couple seconds. And bring yourself back to space around you. I'm going to go ahead and roll over onto your side. I'm going to roll onto my right side. We're going to start here, which is a little bit of hip opener. So grab that top leg by the ankle, and we're going to work to pull that back. So it should feel a good stretch through the front of your hip, through your calf, through your quad, all the way down through your knee. We're going to try to really open those hips. So that hip angle, this place right here, we want to try to get that as straight as possible, as close to 180 degrees as you can. We're going to hold these stretches for a little bit longer today. Might have been a tough weekend. You might have had a lot of activity going on, or you may not have. Either way, this will help you out. We're going to sit and hold for a little bit longer. This should promote some lengthening. Alright, go ahead and relax out of that. And we're actually going to pull that knee in towards us this time. So just the opposite of what we just did. Now we're focusing on the back side, a little bit of glute, a little bit of lower back. You're going to try to get that knee to the chest as tight as possible. That other leg you want to maintain very, very straight. You can relax that head down if you need to as well. We can bend that arm for a nice little pillow. We'll here for about 10 more seconds. And go ahead and relax there. We're going to flip it over to the other side. You can just roll all the way over if you want to. We're going to do the same thing. I'm grabbing the ankle of the top leg. We're going to pull that heel into the glute. Open that hip and the quad. I'm just going to hang out here. Again, looking to be very aware of how that body is feeling. If one hip is a little bit tighter, a little bit looser than the other, that's going to play into a lot of different parts of your day. And so sometimes that can be from just sitting in an imbalanced position for long periods of time. I'm certainly guilty of that. So just make sure you have good posture when you sit. Both cheeks are on the chair, both feet are on the ground, and try to maintain pretty upright, balanced position. Go ahead and relax out of that. We're going to draw that knee closer to that chest. So now guys, a lot of times if you keep your wallet in your back pocket, that's a lot of hip issues right there sitting on that imbalance. May not seem like much, but it can certainly play a big role in the shift of our hips when we squat or when we lunge, even when we walk or run. So just keep that in mind, again, as you sit. few more seconds here on this. Really try to relax that hip. Let that stretch kind of take over, melting through that tension. And relax there. All right, we're gonna roll that onto our bellies. We're gonna sit back, taking your knees wide, your big toes together. We're gonna sit back into our child's pose. Really reaching those hands out front. Push that chest down towards the ground. Trying to get those arms as long as possible. Push those hips away from those fingertips as long as possible. Creating length through that whole body. And you want to think about melting your chest down into the ground. Reaching your hips to one side of the mat, your fingertips to the other. And as you hold, try continually lengthen. If you need to walk those fingers out a little bit more as you start to loosen up. We're going to hang out here for about another 15 seconds. And we're going to let that low back melt. Melt all that tension out. We'll go ahead and ease up out of that for just a little bit. We're going to take both hands over to the left. You're going to take your right hand, put that on top of your left hand. We're going to go right back into that child's pose. Should feel a little bit more emphasis on the right side to your right lat. Get a real good stretch. So still sitting back through those hips, still reaching forward with those fingertips, but you're doing it a little bit more diagonally across the mat this time. Five more seconds here. And we'll walk it over to the other side. Complete other side. Just really reach those fingers up. You might feel this in your shoulders a little bit. Remember, if you start to feel pain, that's probably a little bit too far. Pull back a little bit. But if it feels slightly uncomfortable, like, you know, it's tight, that's a good sign. That's where you need to be. Stretching out through that a little bit. Creating some space in those joints and those muscles. Got to be pretty present when you stretch. Just making sure that we're not just holding positions and not feeling anything, because that's not really doing anything for us. We're just wasting some time. So you sit there as long as you need to. If you're not really feeling it, you can go ahead and move on. Don't feel like you need to stretch every piece of yourself. If something's feeling pretty good, go to the ones that aren't feeling as good. All right, we'll go ahead and bring that up. All right, we're going to go into our kneeling position. We're going to work a little bit on those hips some more. So we're going to cheat that front foot forward a little bit. We're going to go into our lizard stretch. You might have seen this one last week. We're going to focus on our hips here a little bit as well, but this front knee we're going to work to kind of fall out to the side. So you're kind of working to open those hips laterally left and right. Just focus on the single leg at a time. So you can bring those hands down to the ground if you'd like to, or if you're getting a little bit more out of it, staying upright. Either way, this knee is falling out toward the side. And that is our primary emphasis here. You should certainly feel a bit through that back hip, but we're looking for that front hip. If you want to deepen that stretch, think about turning on those glutes. Those are kind of the antagonists, the opposite workers of the internal hip that we're trying to stretch. And just make sure that front foot stays flat on the ground or as close to flat as possible. If you want to reach down and kind of put an active anchor on that, you can. Just remember to keep those hips open. And it should be kind of a constant push here with that knee, that front knee, kind of continually reaching out to the side. Don't just get out there and let it be. Go ahead and continually push it. Feel that stretch. We'll go ahead and switch sides. And normally, like I said, if you're holding it long enough, you should feel that that tension kind of dissipate a little bit as it starts to loosen up. I mean, as little as 15, 20 seconds. Sometimes it may take 2 minutes. So you kind of be in control of that. So I can tell you this side, this one's a little bit looser, certainly not as much tension going into this stretch on our right side. But maybe your other side is a lot worse. So go ahead and continue to push that knee to the outside. Don't lose that back hip either. Keep driving that back hip forward. Glutes are turned on, trying to find where that stretch is and hold. Continually pushing. Good ankle mobility exercise here as well. Working to maintain that front foot in contact with the ground. I'll go ahead and relax out of that. Now we're going to take it back to an old school favorite here. This is the straight leg hamstring reach here. So both of our feet together, toes are going up. We're just going to reach down the leg here as far as you can. Trying to get to those toes, past those toes if you can. Again, right to the point where you feel that tension right before the pain. I want you to hold that. Try to maintain that position in space. If not, push a little bit deeper into it as we hold. You should feel that flexibility improve the longer you hold this position. So if you can't quite get all the way to those toes, certainly you're reaching as far as you can. Great for loosening up the upper back, the low back, glutes, the hamstrings. All those are big chain. About a half a finger through. Now just holding on. It's always fun to see how much you can improve by just holding a stretch. As you get more comfortable in that position, hold here for about 10 more seconds. Make sure we're still breathing, relaxing, letting that tension go, and relax. All right, we're a little bit more on that low back. So we're going to take that right leg, we're going to put that over the left. So my foot's kind of behind my knee. I'm going to take my left hand, put it on the back side of my knee, and my right hand is going to reach out here and it's going to pull me. I'm going to work to twist along the spine. So like you're a wet rag and you're being wrung out. I'm going to try to wring the tension out of our low back. So try to sit up tall, put that head to ceiling. Use that spine kind of as your pivot point and rotating around that spine. You're pushing against the knee with this hand. You're pulling against the ground with that back hand. Try to exhale and rotate just a little bit more. Sitting tall, proud chest, holding there, and relax. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So other foot, our left foot behind that right knee. Right hand all the way over. Push and pull. Get a few back cracks there. Remember, sit tall. Like I say all the time, we're creating length through those joints, through those muscles. So trying to make our body as long as possible. So elongate that neck, pull those shoulders away from those ears. Put that head to the ceiling. Hang out here for 10 more seconds. Try to exhale and get a little bit deeper. And relax there. All right, that's going to do it for us today in Unravel. We'll be back in just a few minutes with some full body blasts. Hopefully you are loose and ready to go. So grab that water, grab those shoes, and we'll be back in just a minute.